how can we identify whether what we are considering, the topic that we are considering, whether it's something of significance or not? How can we identify it? Okay, so as I said last time, the main source of scholarly information are conferences and journals, but most of the conferences, they are rubbish. Okay, most of them, they have no repute, no value. However, in every field there are some conferences of very high repute. So you have to target those conferences. First of all, you have to target some specific conferences of very high repute in a specific area. Those conferences, their most recent conferences of like last 2 years, they can show you the trends where this specific research community is focusing on. So you should focus on those topics. Then there are some really good magazines. For example, IEEE Communication Magazine for the communication network guys. IEEE Networks, this is another magazine for the network guys. Okay, there are some other such sort of magazines. So magazines give you just sort of glimpse of some basic trends. Those the papers or the article published in magazines, they are not actually the fully like sort of qualified research papers. Most of the time they are actually they provide some glimpse, some introduction of some area of interest or the most recent areas. So they are actually intended for normal people, not the expert of that specific field, but for the people that are interested in that specific area. For example, just consider Internet of Things. So a graduate student or a wireless or like a network related student, he might or she might be well aware of what is meant by Internet of Things. However, a simple computer science guy, he might not be very well aware of what Internet of Things are. So magazines provide some basic stuff, some basic idea on the recent trends, where the research is going. And then there are, beside magazines, there are pure like journals, specific journals for some specific fields. For example, we have IEEE and ACM Transactions on networking. For wireless guys, we have IEEE Transactions on selected topics on networks or wireless infrastructure, so on. Like for every field there are some specific journals and some specific bodies as well. For example, IEEE is the organization or association specifically focusing on engineering stuff, on electrical engineering, even computer engineering, all that stuff. Okay, there are some broad categories of publishers like Elsevier or Springer. They are not focused, they have many different journals. Then in those associations or publishers, there are some specific fields, and then there are some specific journals that target some specific topics. So you should first of all get what the information regarding what are the best conferences in my area, what are the best magazines in my area, and what are the best journals in my area. So these are three major resources. There are three major resources that you may use to know whether the topic you are actually interested in is some topic of significance for that specific community or not.